3 years. That's how long it had been since Maya signed those papers. The same ones that ended a 6-year marriage, with the man she thought would grow old beside her. She still remembered that day in court, the way Daniel couldn't even look her in the eye, and how his mistress, Claire, had been waiting right outside, rubbing her fake baby bump like she owned the world. Spoiler alert, Claire wasn't even pregnant back then, just dramatic. Maya had walked away that day feeling gutted, humiliated, and yeah, a little foolish. The kind of foolish you feel when your husband trades you in like an old car for someone, younger, perkier, and a whole lot louder on Instagram. She'd spent months wondering if she'd been too boring, too career-focused, too everything or not enough anything. But over time, that hurt turned into something stronger. It turned into silence, then growth, then peace. Now, standing at the cafe window with her double stroller and 2 toddlers babbling about muffins, Maya couldn't help but smile at the quiet chaos her life had become. It was messy, loud, exhausting, but it was hers. No one could take that from her. The door to the cafe chimed open, and Maya didn't even look up at first. She was busy wiping chocolate off Aiden's chin while Sophia tugged on her jacket for more juice. But then, she heard it, that annoying giggle. The one that sounded like someone trying too hard to be adorable. Oh my God, Maya? She turned slowly, her smile tightening before it even formed. There they were, Daniel and Claire, standing like a Hallmark greeting card come to life. Claire had a visible baby bump this time, like a real one, and Daniel had that smug, "Look what I've upgraded to," expression that made Maya's stomach twist. Not with jealousy, but with déjà vu. "Wow, it's really you," Claire said, touching her belly with dramatic flair. "It's been forever. We just moved back to the city. And look, we're expecting." Maya looked from Claire's bump to Daniel's awkward half smile and tilted her head, feigning innocence. "That's nice. Congratulations." Daniel finally spoke. "How have you been?" Maya stepped aside, revealing her twins, who were now busy making a mess with their muffin crumbs. "Oh, just busy. You know how it is. Kids keep you on your toes." Claire's eyes widened. "Wait, twins? Are they?" "Yes," Maya said smoothly. "Mine. Born 2 years ago. Aiden and Sophia. Meet some people." The shock on their faces was priceless. Daniel's eyes darted between the twins, and Maya like his brain was glitching. Claire blinked rapidly, trying to process. "But you never posted about being pregnant." "I don't post about my stretch marks and swollen feet, if that's what you mean." Maya's voice was calm, almost amused. "Not everything's for Instagram, Claire." Daniel cleared his throat. "So, who's the father?" Maya smiled, picking up a juice box and handing it to Sophia. "Someone who actually knows how to stay loyal." That hit landed hard. Claire's smile twitched, and Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "Well," he said, adjusting his collar, "we should catch up sometime. Maybe get the kids together when our baby's born." Maya nodded, her tone cool but lethal. "Sure. I'll let my assistant know to check our schedule. Right after nap time, snack time, and not tolerating bullshit time." Claire opened her mouth, then closed it. Daniel gave a weird little nod, and the two of them slowly backed out of the cafe, like people realizing they'd walked into the wrong movie. As the door shut behind them, Maya sank into her seat and sipped her coffee. Aiden spilled his muffin on the floor, and Sophia stuck a sticker on her forehead. It wasn't a perfect life, but it was beautiful in a way Daniel would never understand. He left looking for better, and all the while, she became the best version of herself. After that little run-in at the cafe, Maya couldn't stop thinking about it. Not because she was hurt or flustered. Far from it. It was more like watching a rerun of an old show you used to love, realizing how badly it aged. That smug look on Daniel's face, the way Claire cradled her bump like it was a trophy. It didn't shake her. If anything, it just confirmed what she already knew. She had outgrown them. But damn, 3 years ago, she wasn't this calm. Back then, she was a storm. The night after the divorce was finalized, Maya went home, pulled the blanket over her head, and cried so hard she thought she might never breathe right again. 6 years of her life, wasted. She had given Daniel everything. Loyalty, trust, and her whole damn heart, but it hadn't been enough. He wanted excitement, thrill, someone who didn't nag about bills or talk too much about work. In other words, someone who wasn't real. The worst part, Maya found out about the affair, not through some dramatic confrontation or emotional confession. No, she found out from a Facebook tag. Claire had posted a blurry photo of Daniel, asleep beside her with the caption, "My king, even your snores are sexy. Nap time with Bae. Public, no shame, no hesitation." Maya had stared at the screen for 5 whole minutes, her coffee going cold in her hands, before the weight of betrayal hit her like a truck. The fallout was quick. Daniel didn't fight for the marriage. Hell, he barely fought for furniture. It was like he couldn't wait to shed her. Like she was a coat he wore too long. Maya kept the apartment, not because she wanted to, but because she had nowhere else to go. The months that followed, pure survival mode. She didn't go out, she didn't dress up. She barely even looked in the mirror. But pain does something strange to a woman. It either breaks her, or it builds her into something unrecognizable. And Maya chose reinvention. She cut her hair, started therapy, took every penny from the settlement, and invested it into her long-abandoned dream. Her own little graphic design studio, which 3 years later had grown into a boutique agency with real clients and a killer rep. And the twins, oh that. And part of the story was messy in all the best ways. It had started with one of those casual why not dates. A guy named Luca, a friend of a friend, who had a crooked smile, and the emotional intelligence Maya didn't realize she craved, was sweet, gentle, the opposite of Daniel in every way. They weren't in love, not really. More like two broken people finding warmth in each other during a cold chapter. It lasted 4 months. No fights, no drama, just 2 people sharing space. Until they didn't anymore. When Maya found out she was pregnant, Luca offered to step in, be a father, but she could see it in his eyes. He wasn't ready, and Maya, for the first time in her life, didn't beg or bend or shrink. She told him it was okay to walk away. He did, and she raised those babies herself. The pregnancy was rough. Morning sickness turned into all-day misery. The loneliness, worse. No partner to rub her back at night. No one to freak out with when the twins started kicking like future soccer stars. But even through the tears and the swollen ankles, Maya felt something stronger than heartbreak. She felt purpose. Every appointment, every midnight craving, every silent moment staring at the ultrasound screen. It rewired her. By the time Aiden and Sophia were born, she wasn't just a woman recovering from divorce. She was a mother, a builder, a damn force. So, yeah, seeing Daniel again. It was like bumping into a ghost. Not scary, just strange. Like, oh right, you used to be everything to me, and now you're just a man in line for coffee. Maya stirred her cup, watching her twins smear muffin crumbs across the table, and whispered to herself, "Thank you for leaving, because if he hadn't, she never would have found this version of her. Daniel hadn't slept well since that cafe encounter. He tried to tell himself it was nothing. Just an awkward moment from the past, showing up uninvited. But the truth? That image of Maya standing there, glowing and unbothered with twins by her side, had carved itself into his brain like graffiti he couldn't scrub off. He'd expected, what? A bitter ex still nursing a grudge. Maybe someone who'd put on weight from stress, who looked tired, lonely, maybe even broken. But the woman he saw? She looked like she'd won. The more he thought about it, the more it twisted in his gut. Claire didn't help. The second they left the cafe, she'd started grilling him. "Why didn't you tell me she had kids?" she asked, arms folded, lips tight. Daniel looked at her sideways. "How would I know? We haven't spoken in years." Claire scoffed. "You guys were married. You didn't think to, I don't know, check up on your ex-wife once in a while?" "No, Claire," he said, a little too sharp. "I didn't stalk her Instagram, if that's what you're asking." Claire muttered something under her breath, rubbing her belly like she was calming herself down. Truth was, Claire had always been threatened by Maya, even when she was just the wife. Daniel had promised her Maya was boring, too driven, too cold. But what she saw today, that woman wasn't cold. She was cool, effortlessly cool, unshaken, in control. Claire noticed it too, and it stung. Back at their condo, Daniel kept scrolling through his phone. Curiosity got the best of him. Maya's social media was mostly quiet. Occasional posts about her agency, a blurry picture of the twins at a birthday party, a meme about single motherhood. But the comments, overflowing with love. "You're killing it, mama. Those babies are so lucky to have you. Strongest woman I know." Daniel read them with a strange tightness in his chest. He never really thought about how she'd move on, because in his mind, he was the one doing better, the one who got the new girl, the baby on the way, the fresh start. But now, he felt behind. He tried to shake it off. He had a family now. Claire was due in a few months. Everything was supposed to be perfect. Except, things hadn't been perfect for a long time. Claire had a temper. She thrived on drama. Pregnancy had made her more impatient, more possessive, more demanding. Sometimes he felt like he was walking on eggshells in his own home. And the scariest part, he was starting to realize that what he left Maya for wasn't worth it. Meanwhile, Maya sat at home that night, scrolling through emails with one hand and rocking Sophia with the other. The kids were teething, both cranky, both clingy. Her back ached, her head was pounding, and she still had a logo revision due by midnight. But she was good. Tired, always, but good. She thought about Daniel briefly, not with longing, but with curiosity. Had he expected her to fall apart, to stay stuck in the past, like a paused scene in his memory? Maybe. But that was the thing about men like him. They only noticed your worth when you stopped begging them to see it. And Maya, she didn't beg anymore. Later that night, after the twins finally passed out, she sat on the couch with her laptop open and the TV playing something she wasn't really watching. Her phone buzzed. It was a text. A number she hadn't saved, but one she'd memorized years ago. Daniel. "Hey, didn't get a chance to really talk earlier. You looked happy. The kids are beautiful. Congrats." She stared at the message for a long time. Not angry, not hurt, just done. She locked her phone without replying, tossed it on the coffee table, and went back to work. Let him stew in his curiosity. She had better things to build. Claire was spiraling. Ever since that cafe moment, she'd been picking fights over nothing. One minute she was crying about Daniel not rubbing her feet. The next she was slamming doors because he forgot to bring home almond milk. But it wasn't the milk. It wasn't even Daniel. It was Maya. Claire had built this fantasy in her head. That Maya was the plain, lifeless wife Daniel had escaped from. The forgotten woman he left behind to chase something younger, hotter, freer. She'd imagined Maya with stress wrinkles and dark circles, living in leggings, with a fridge full of wine and regret. But that wasn't what she saw. What she saw in that cafe was a woman thriving. No ring, no man, just two beautiful kids and the kind of inner peace that made Claire itch with envy. It felt like she'd just gotten the prize, only to realize the real trophy had gone to someone else. Meanwhile, Daniel had been quieter than usual, not angry, not cold, just vacant, like he was stuck in his own head. And Claire hated that, because if there was one thing she needed from him, it was attention. Maya used to be the woman she competed with. Now, she was the shadow haunting their happy ever after. Claire sat on the couch one morning, scrolling through Maya's Instagram. Again, a picture of the twins at a park, laughing on the swings. A story post of Maya at some networking event, sipping wine in a fitted black dress, standing beside a man who looked dangerously handsome. The caption, "Success tastes better when you earned it alone." Claire nearly threw her phone. Daniel walked in with a yawn. "Morning," he said. She didn't reply. He sat across from her, rubbing his temples. "Can we not do this today?" "Do what?" she snapped. "The whole silent treatment, mood swings thing." "I'm tired, Claire." She glared at him. "Oh, you're tired. You didn't carry this baby. You didn't get cheated on by your own hormones. You're not the one looking like a balloon." Daniel blinked. "No one said you look. Don't." Her voice cracked. "Just don't." Daniel got up, brushing past her. She could feel him pulling away. And the worst part? She couldn't stop it. Because she knew, deep down, he'd looked at Maya that day the way men look at something they didn't realize they missed until it was gone. And that terrified her. Across town, Maya had just wrapped up a pitch with a new client. A luxury real estate firm that had found her. Through word of mouth, her agency had started small. Just a side hustle to survive. But now, she had a team of 4, a calendar booked 3 months out, and talks of expanding into branding consultations. Her phone buzzed during her walk back to the car. Unknown number, voicemail. She didn't bother listening. If it mattered, they'd text. As she slid into her seat, she spotted someone in the corner of the lot, a familiar figure leaning against a silver car. Daniel. He walked over, hands in pockets, trying to look casual. "Hey," he said, voice low. Maya raised a brow. "Seriously? I wasn't stalking, I swear. I had a meeting nearby. Just saw you coming out and thought I'd say hi." She sighed. "What do you want, Daniel?" He looked like he didn't even know. "I don't know. I've been thinking a lot since that day." Must have been exhausting. He ignored the jab. "You seem different, stronger." Maya gave a dry laugh. "I am different. Life tends to do that to you when people walk out like cowards." Daniel swallowed hard. "I messed up." Maya looked at him. Really looked at him. He looked older now, tired, a little lost. And for a flicker of a second, she saw the boy he used to be, the one who once promised her forever. But that boy was gone, and so was her patience. "You didn't just mess up, Daniel," she said. "You rewrote my whole life without asking. You humiliated me, and then you left. So no, you don't get to come back now, full of apologies and wide eyes, just because I don't look like the wreck you hoped I'd be." He didn't answer. What could he say? She got in her car, started the engine. Claire's pregnant. Go be present for that. And if you're bored again, maybe talk to a therapist before ruining another woman's life. As she drove off, Daniel just stood there, holding on to a truth that stung more than he expected. He hadn't just lost her. He'd lost the woman she became because he left. Claire had officially crossed into obsession. She didn't say it out loud, of course, but her browser history told the truth. She'd gone through every photo Maya had ever posted, zooming in on backgrounds, outfits, faces. She even stalked the guy in that networking pic. Turned out he was some tech founder with a 7-figure company and a baby face. Maya hadn't tagged him. That made it worse. It meant she didn't need to show off, and that drove Claire insane. She sat on the couch with swollen feet, ice cream in one hand, phone in the other, replaying Maya's Instagram story for the 5th time that night. Maya laughing with her kids. Maya in a blazer at a panel event. Maya looking effortlessly sexy in a candid someone else took. No hashtags, no filters, no thirst trap desperation, just winning. Daniel walked in and barely looked at her. He hadn't touched her in weeks. Not that she wanted him to. He went straight to the fridge, pulled out a bottle of water, and leaned against the counter like he didn't know she was about to explode. I saw her again, he said finally, like it was a casual weather report. Claire froze. What? Outside. Her office. We talked. Not for long. Claire slammed the remote down. Are you serious right now? She was cold, but honest. Said some things I needed to hear. Claire's voice cracked. You're still hung up on her. Daniel looked at her, finally, really looked. And for the first time, there was no guilt in his eyes. Just a quiet kind of regret. I don't know. Maybe I'm just realizing she wasn't the problem. Maybe I was. Claire stood up, belly and all, fire blazing in her chest. You left her for me. You chose me. And now you want to backpedal because she's suddenly better than you imagined. Daniel didn't yell, didn't argue, just sighed. Maybe I didn't deserve her. That broke something inside Claire. She didn't sleep that night. And the next day, she went to Maya's office, unannounced. Maya was in a meeting when her assistant walked in. There's a woman in reception. She's pregnant. Says she's your ex-husband's wife. Maya blinked. What? Yeah. She won't leave. Says she needs to talk to you. Maya excused herself from the meeting and walked out calmly. Heels clicking, head high. When she saw Claire, she kept her face blank. Claire stood up. You're hard to reach. I didn't realize I owed you my time, Maya said, arms crossed. Claire stepped closer. Look, I don't care about Daniel. Not anymore. But I need to say this. You don't get to pretend you're better than me. Maya blinked. Is that what this is about? Some weird competition you're still trying to win? Claire's hands trembled. You made him think you're some untouchable goddess now. And maybe you are. But back then, you were just like me. And he still left you. Maya tilted her head. And that's what you need to believe, huh? That I was weak too. That he left because I failed. Claire's voice cracked. You want everyone to think you leveled up, but I see through it. You're still that heartbroken woman. You're just hiding behind designer clothes and baby pictures. Maya stepped forward, calm, but cutting. No, I'm the woman who rebuilt her life while you were busy playing trophy wife. I'm the one who carried twins alone, built a business alone, healed alone. I didn't steal anyone's husband. I didn't need a man to validate my glow. You did. Claire's eyes watered. You're cruel. No, Maya said. I'm honest. And trust me. If you think this is me being cruel, you haven't even seen what I'm capable of. When someone tries to drag me back into the mud, I crawled out of. Claire backed up a step, her whole face trembling. "I don't want your husband," Maya added. "I want your peace, and I have it." She turned and walked away, heels echoing down the hall, leaving Claire standing there like a cracked vase. Pretty on the outside, shattered on the inside, back. At home, Maya pulled her twins into her arms and kissed their foreheads. She didn't need closure anymore. She was the closure. Daniel sat in his car for 10 minutes before going inside. He stared blankly at the apartment complex, rubbing his wedding ring like it was suddenly burning his skin. Claire wasn't answering his texts, which was nothing new lately, but this time he had a sinking feeling in his gut. And it wasn't about her. It was about him. He had always seen himself as the guy with options, the man who could leave and land on his feet. He told himself Maya would survive, that she'd move on and find someone boring like her, someone safe. But instead, she'd turned into someone he couldn't touch anymore, someone too high above him now. Watching her walk away from Claire like that, calm, sharp, lethal, it made something inside him twist. He thought he'd broken her. Turns out he'd built her. Claire was on the couch when he walked in, eyes red and swollen. She didn't say anything, didn't even look at him. "I know you went to see her," Daniel said quietly. Claire nodded slowly. "Yeah, I did." He sat down, careful not to push too close. "Why?" "Because I needed to see what you lost, and what you made me chase." Daniel clenched his jaw. "I didn't make you chase anything." Claire looked at him, bitter and tired. "Yes, you did. You made me believe I'd won, that you left her for me because I was something better. But you never stopped loving her, Daniel. You just didn't love yourself enough to be worthy of her." That silenced him. Claire rubbed her belly, tears threatening again. "I gave up everything to be with you. Friends, family. I got labeled a homewrecker. People stopped inviting me to things. I played the villain in her story, and you let me." Daniel didn't know what to say, because it was true. Claire looked at him, dead in the eyes. "I want a better life for this baby than the mess we've made. And I don't know if that includes you." Daniel felt that like a punch in the gut. For the first time, the life he built on the ruins of Maya's heart didn't feel like a kingdom anymore. It felt like a collapsed tent, unstable, flimsy, and temporary. Across town, Maya's office was buzzing. Her agency had just landed, its biggest deal yet, a rebranding contract with a national skincare brand. It was the kind of deal that pushed her from small business owner to power player, the kind of win that made her think back to that tiny home office where she once cried into her keyboard while pregnant with twins. And unsure of everything, she sent her team home early to celebrate, picked up the kids from daycare, and treated them to cupcakes and a trip to the bookstore. Simple joy, real peace. Later that night, as she tucked the twins into bed, Aiden wrapped his tiny arms around her neck. "Mommy," he whispered. "You're magic," she smiled, her throat tightening. "Why do you say that?" "Because you do everything," he said, snuggling into her shoulder, like a superhero. Sophia nodded, half asleep. "You make everything okay." Maya sat there in silence, holding her babies, realizing just how far she'd come. Not just from Daniel, but from the version of herself who once thought her life was over. No, this was her second act, and it was the best one yet. Meanwhile, Daniel found himself staring at an empty crib in the nursery they'd set up together. Claire had gone to her sister's place to think. No timeline, no answers, just silence. He walked over to the crib, touched the soft blanket inside, and for the first time in years, cried. Not because he missed Maya, not because Claire might leave, but because he'd spent his whole life chasing the illusion of control and lost the only woman who ever made him feel like a man worth becoming. He grabbed his phone and typed out a long message to Maya, then deleted it. She didn't need his words. She already had the life he thought she never would, and the twins he'd never get to know. 2 weeks passed. Claire didn't come back. She texted Daniel once, said she was safe, staying with her sister, and needed space. Nothing more. No follow-up. No, I love you. And Daniel, he didn't chase. He couldn't. Not after what he realized. Not after facing the version of himself he'd been avoiding. Selfish, careless, incapable of loving anyone because he never learned how to love himself. He kept his head down, went to work, ate the same takeout every night, and watched the news with the volume too low. His phone stayed silent. No Claire. No Maya. Just him and the echo of the life he could have had if he'd just stayed and done the work. And Maya, she was entering a new era. Her agency had become the talk of the city's design scene. One of her branding campaigns had just gone viral. Suddenly, interviews, podcast invites, panels, they all came flooding in. She was no longer the quiet divorcee with twins. She was Maya Jameson, businesswoman, mother, and walking proof that success is the best revenge. But with that came the spotlight. And with the spotlight came questions. One of her interviews with a lifestyle magazine was going viral. The journalist had asked about her past, about raising twins alone, about that moment at the cafe. Maya kept it classy. Didn't name names, didn't throw shade, but she was honest. The day he walked away, he gave me the freedom to become the woman I was too afraid to be. So really, I owe him a thank you. That quote exploded online. It became a meme, a tweet, a mantra for single moms everywhere. It landed her even more brand deals. Maya had officially become the face of survival and soft power. And then one day, a letter arrived. Not an email, not a DM, a real envelope. No name on the front, just a simple stamp and her address handwritten. In the corner, inside was a note. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect a reply. But thank you for surviving. You proved me wrong. D. No signature. But she knew the handwriting. She stared at it for a while, unsure whether to laugh or cry. It wasn't closure. Not really. But it was an admission. A quiet confession from the man who once took everything from her. She folded the letter in half and tucked it into the back of her journal. Not because she treasured it, but because it reminded her of how far she'd come. That night, she got a message from someone else. No drama, no baggage. It was Micah, the guy from the panel, the one with the low voice, the two perfect teeth, and the way he looked at her like she was both storm and shelter at the same time. Micah. You free for dinner this weekend? I've got a rooftop reservation and a wine list calling your name. She grinned, fingers hovering over her phone. Maya. Only if you're okay with a late night call from my nanny mid-dinner. Micah. Only if you're okay with me reading bedtime stories to 2 toddlers after dessert. Maya paused, smiled, then typed back. Maya, you're on. She put her phone down and looked at herself in the mirror. Really looked. There were laugh lines now, faint ones. A small scar on her chin from when Sophia flung a toy at her. Tired eyes, sure. But they weren't hollow anymore. They were full of life, of grit, of stories, and maybe, just maybe, love again, but this time on her terms. The restaurant was glowing under soft, golden lights, tucked above the city skyline, like a secret only the right people knew about. Maya stepped out of the elevator in a deep green wrap dress, her curls pinned up, her heels clicking with confidence. Micah stood near the railing, watching the city lights flicker below. Sharp suit, warm smile, no ego, just presence. He turned when he saw her and whistled under his breath. "Damn, you trying to make every man on this rooftop question their life choices?" She laughed. "Just showing up as my full self tonight." They sat. The wine was rich, the air warm, the laughter easy. No probing questions, no awkward silences. Just two people meeting each other where they were, not where they used to be. Midway through dessert, her phone buzzed. A picture from her nanny, Aiden and Sophia, knocked out on the couch in mismatched pajamas, covered in stickers and popcorn. Micah leaned over and grinned. They look like they've survived a war zone. Maya smiled softly. That's every Friday night. He watched her for a second, then said, "You're really something, you know that. Most people fall apart after what you went through. You rebuilt." Maya tilted her head. "No, I didn't rebuild. I redesigned. Better foundation this time." They toasted to that. It wasn't about romance. It wasn't about proving anything. It was about peace, finally. A night that didn't feel heavy. A man who didn't feel like another test. The next morning, Maya took the twins to the park. They ran ahead, giggling, their tiny hands chasing butterflies and bubbles. She sat on a bench, coffee in hand, watching them just be. This was the part people didn't see on Instagram. The little moments, the sticky fingers, the way Sophia held Aiden's hand, crossing the grass like they'd never been apart. That's when she saw him, Daniel, at the far edge of the park, hands in pockets, watching, not intruding, just there. She waited until the twins were distracted on the swings before she walked over. He looked up. "Didn't want to interrupt. You didn't," she said. He nodded at the kids. "They're perfect." She crossed her arms. "I know." He gave a sad smile. "You really did it, huh?" Maya didn't answer. She didn't need to. Daniel looked down. "Claire's not coming back. She says she needs to figure out who she is, without being compared to someone she never even knew." Maya raised a brow. "Sounds familiar." He chuckled quietly. "I guess I broke two women with one decision." "No," she said. "You didn't break me. You cracked me open. There's a difference." Silence stretched between them. Then he said, "I wish I'd seen this version of you back then." Maya's eyes narrowed. "She was always there. You just didn't want to meet her." Daniel nodded slowly. "I'm sorry." "I know," she replied. "But I'm not sorry anymore. That's the difference between you and me." She turned to walk away, but then paused. "Hey, Daniel." He looked up. "Thank you." His brow furrowed. "For what?" "For leaving. You gave me the chance to become someone better than who I was trying to be for you." Then she walked back to her twins. Aiden shouted for her to push the swing higher. Sophia was mid-song, singing nonsense to the sky. Maya took a deep breath. She didn't win. She healed. And healing always beats revenge.